everybody, today we're going to work on the Kimberbell Punch Needle Embroidery Cozy Christmas Ornaments Kit. I've already done the punch needle portion and I'll talk to you about how to attach the embellishments, but we're going to make the ornaments together. The kit comes with everything you need to make the ornaments. Inside the kit there are instructions for the punch needle. You only do one stitch for all of these ornaments. It's called the loop and cut, which is the loop stitch and then you just trim it. If you've never done punch needle before, I have a beginner punch needle video. I'll link that below and you can watch and learn the loop stitch. I've already opened this kit, so some of my yarn is missing, but you get the yarn, needles, thread, embroidery thread, beads, rickrack, the little wood ornament backing pieces, and there's a piece of tulle in here. Your kit also comes with the punch needle threader, and this really handy frame. You just need to screw it to loosen it, and you'll notice when you pop this out, it's not flat like a wooden embroidery hoop. You see it's got the groove there, and then there's a ridge here on the inside. That helps keep your monk's cloth nice and tight while you're doing the punch needle portion of the project. So you put your cloth in and you make sure it's nice and tight, and as you're punching with your punch needle it won't slip because it's got that groove and that ridge on the inside. I've already done the punch portion and added the embellishments. Here's what the back looks like. The back is nice and flat because the yarn goes to the front and creates the loop. I attach my embellishments in a couple different ways. You'll see here on the back of the Christmas tree there's a little piece of embroidery thread running back and forth. I use that for the beads and the bows on the tree, and you have to be careful not to pull your thread tight or you'll pull those beads right down into the yarn. I'm not the fastest at hand stitching, so after I did this one I switched to glue and toothpicks. I used E6000 glue. It dries clear, it's very strong. I use this for making jewelry, and I use toothpicks, and that's how I attached everything else. All these other beads, the little yarn bows, the tiny piece of rickrack on the gingerbread man, I just would hold a bead and dab a little glue on it with a toothpick. In fact, you can probably see there's still glue on my fingers because I just finished that. And then I would glue it down. I also tried using the toothpick and dabbing the glue first and then putting the bead on top. Either way works. I glued the eyes with the holes facing up so it looks like my gingerbread man has little eyes. Let's talk about preparing to make these into ornaments. If you've watched any of my punch needle finishing videos, you know I like my Mod Podge. The regular Mod Podge, this one says gloss luster, this dries hard. The fabric Mod Podge dries soft and flexible. I use this on my punch needle pillow tutorial. The instructions for the ornaments say to cinch the back closed and attach it to the wooden piece. It's going to be much easier to attach these to the little wooden pieces if they have a nice solid back. We're going to coat the back with the regular Mod Podge. This is going to dry and have a hard plastic-like feel to it. It's going to make it so much easier to attach these to the little wood pieces. You want to flip your pieces over to the back. If you've never used Mod Podge before, it looks like Elmer's glue. It kind of smells like Elmer's glue. If you buy some and it's too thick, you can mix in a little bit of water. It'll be just fine. I'm going to use a little sponge brush. You can get them at craft shops. We'll start with the gingerbread man. All you do is get some of your Mod Podge. You can kind of goop it on there and brush it over the yarn. Now I'm going to be careful and try to get it just to the edge of my yarn. That's going to help keep the round shape and make this nice and stiff and make it easier to cinch the back closed and then to attach it to the wood piece. Coat the back of the piece. It will dry clear. Don't worry about it looking like a white goopy mess. You want to make sure everything's covered. This also keeps your yarn from being pulled out of the front by accident. It really helps secure the back of your punch needle pieces. That looks really good. I'm going to coat the other 3 ornaments. These are all coated. I'm going to let mine dry overnight because I don't have any more time for this today. But if you read the instructions on the back, it does say dry 30 minutes between coats. But if you've used Mod Podge before, you know a lot of times you're smoothing it like paper on wood and you're just doing a really thin layer. Make sure it's dry before you go to the next step. I let the Mod Podge sit overnight. Let me show you what this looks like. You can see it kind of looks a little plasticky. It is hard, but it's still a little bit pliable. It's not completely hard, you know, like this, like a quilting ruler. It's still pliable. What we're going to do now is cinch these closed. I want to go ahead and separate them. You can use a rotary cutter, you can use scissors. whatever's easiest for you. Just get them separated. I'll start with the Christmas tree. I want to make sure to tuck these little bits of yarn underneath because I'm going to trim this even further. I'm going to use my rotary cutter. You can use scissors. I'm actually going to place it on a little rotating cutting mat. That'll make it easier for me, but I want to be sure that I don't cut my yarn. That's all tucked under. Now the monk's cloth will fray, so I don't recommend cutting your pieces until you're ready to do the finishing. If you cut them and then let them sit, there's a chance you could come back to kind of a mess. And this does not have to be perfect, which you can see mine is nowhere near perfect. That looks good. I'm going to grab the white yarn, just pull some off. If you have too much, it's not that big a deal. If you don't have enough, you can always add more. Your punch needle kit comes with a bag that has 2 needles and a needle threader. Get the big needle. If you've never used a needle threader before, the little end that has the wire goes through the eye of the needle, like that, and then your yarn or your thread is going to go through the wire loop. That way you don't have to thread the actual needle. Gives you a bigger area to work with. Like that. And then pull that through. On the other end, I'm going to tie a knot, maybe 2 knots. I want to make sure it's not going to pull through my monk's cloth. We'll do a couple knots. 1 more. And then we'll cinch the back closed. I'll show you how to do that. Using the Mod Podge gives your piece some stability. It's going to make it easier to cinch this back closed and get it attached to the little wooden piece that's included in the kit. Just go ahead and pull through. Start anywhere. Pull all the way through. And I kind of like to fold it. And because you have that Mod Podge, this holds its shape. Let's pull another one. You're going to go all the way around, and this is going to close up the back of your piece so it can't unravel, and then it's going to make it easy to attach to the little wooden disc. What I'm doing is folding it, kind of pulling this a little bit towards me, keeping it nice and tight. It's nice and solid with that glue there. Works really well. I'm going to go all the way around my piece. I'm almost back to the beginning where I started. I want to go ahead and pull that, make sure it's nice and secure. Put in another stitch or 2, and then we'll tie this off. And I'll show you what this looks like. Then I have to do this to all the remaining pieces. So this kit comes with 4 little ornaments. Let's go ahead and tie that off. I'm going to leave my needle threaded because I've got a pretty long piece here. I can put a knot at the end of it and start my next little ornament. Here's the back. You can see the monk's cloth is fraying. You don't have to trim it. We're going to attach this to the little piece of wood. Look how nice and neat that is. The Mod Podge helped keep its shape. It looks great. If you've got any extra fuzzies, if you need to do a little bit of trimming, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and cinch the rest of my ornaments closed, and then we'll attach them to the little wooden ornament bases. I've got all the ornaments cinched on the back and ready to go. Your kit comes with 2 round wooden pieces for your round ornaments and 2 oval pieces for the oval ornaments. There's also this long piece of rickrack. You use a little bit of it on your gingerbread man right here and right here. The rest you can use as ties to hang your ornaments. I'm going to do that before I put my ornaments on the actual wooden pieces. I think it'll be easier to add the ties first. I'm going to loop some through one of the ornaments. Need to figure out about how long I want it. I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm going to loop it through and then tie it at the top. That looks good. Let me measure that. I have about 11 inches. I'm going to cut the first one. I'm going to go ahead and loop it and tie it, make sure it looks long enough before I cut the rest of the rickrack. That looks good. I'm going to cut 3 more pieces 11 inches and add the ties to the 3 remaining wood pieces. I've got all my little pieces of rickrack on. I'm going to set the peppermint aside. The peppermint has some tulle and a little bit of additional things we want to do with this before we glue this down. I'm going to use my glue gun to attach these. This is a Sure Bonder high temperature glue gun. This gets really, really, really hot. If you don't have a glue gun or don't like working with glue guns, I could recommend the E6000 glue. I use this when I make jewelry. I do use it with some of my other crafts. You may have seen it on some of my videos. It dries clear. It is very, very strong. Make sure you're in a well ventilated area when you use that. I'm going to put the glue on the back of my piece. I've used this glue gun before. I use it when I frame. When the glue hits wood, the wood smokes. This is really hot glue. Don't burn your fingers. You could probably use a little mini glue gun as well. You don't have to have one that's necessarily this hot. I can actually see smoke coming out of it. This is a real serious glue gun. You do not want to burn your fingers. I'm going to let it sit for just a second because that's really hot. I'm going to position it where I want it. Oh, that looks good. Make sure I have it where I want it and then press it down. Give it a nice firm press. Well, this is going to look really cute. It's coming out really nice. The great thing about punch needle is it doesn't have to be perfect, and it still, in my opinion, looks perfect. It looks good. If you press down your piece, maybe it's not exactly centered. Because you did loop and cut, you could always trim a little bit. You can fluff a little bit. You can see, like, it looks like he's a cat gingerbread man right now. You just need to fluff the yarn. Fix it, get it to look how you want it to look, and then it's ready to go. And remember, again, it's a craft project. It's not perfect. I don't want him to look like he has an antenna though. There we go. He's done and ready to display. Let's do the 2 oval shapes and then we'll do the peppermint that has the extra steps. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to get this yarn out of the way, make sure I don't get glue on that. I have a little bit of extra yarn right there. Trim. Be really careful. Super hot glue. If you're using that E6000, you could put it on the wood and then set your piece on top of the wood. This is the Christmas tree, and it's got the bow right at the top, so be careful with your bow. We're going to work on the peppermint next. If you read the instructions, it says to glue the tool to separate ends of the wooden disc, then glue the wrong side of the monk's cloth to the wooden disc. Attach rickrack loop as desired. It also has little bows on it. If you look at the picture, there's some green yarn bows. It's a good sized square of tulle. It's about a 6-inch square. The first thing I'm going to do is take my tool and I'm going to grab a piece of yarn and I'm going to tie it in the center. That'll help keep it all together. I'm going to double knot that, cut the extra string off. I want to glue this to the disc and I don't want to burn my finger. I have these little finger protectors, silicone finger covers. You can buy them online. I usually double up with this glue gun because this glue gun gets really hot. I'm going to put a little bit right in the center, just a tiny bit. And I'm going to place my knot right over the center and push this down. If you want it to be angled, you can angle the tool so it's at an angle. This is attached. Next I'm going to attach the peppermint piece, and after I do that I'm going to add the green yarn bows. I've got my tool all bunched up. I'm just pressing it. It holds its shape a little bit. Let's attach our peppermint. Before it's completely dry, I can fuss, I can pull, I can twist, I can arrange this a little bit. I've got about the same amount sticking out from either side. Let's cut some green yarn. You can see in the picture it shows a double bow. I cut 10 inches of yarn. I've got 2 pieces here. It's going to be more than enough. I'm going to put it right here between the tool and the wooden base. And I'll tie my bow. I've got this tied just how I want it. I'm going to cut off the extra, and then to make it a little more secure, I'm going to add glue, just a little bit. I don't want to set that tool on fire. This glue is really hot, no joke. Just going to add just the tiniest bit. There we go. This side is done. I might have to trim that a little bit more. It looks a little bit long and it's kind of curly cueing. I'm going to cut 2 more 10-inch pieces and put a bow on this side. Both sides are secure. We've got all 4 of our ornaments done. They look great. Something that's really fun about these wood pieces too is they're an unfinished wood. If you want to paint these, let's say like this one, you want to paint this one red, maybe this one green, this one I would probably do red, and this one maybe green. You can paint them. If you've got kids or grandkids who are making these, you can give them a Sharpie. On the back they can write their name and like Christmas and the year. I hope you've enjoyed making the Kimberbell Cozy Christmas Ornaments kit with me. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below the video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. I'll be bringing you more punch needle, embroidery. I also do cross stitch, quilting. I'm looking forward to maybe adding some more quilting next year. If there's anything specific you'd like to see, please leave me a comment. Let me know. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.